YouTube is Pop Pop. You know, when I was coming up, nobody gave me jack because they didn't have it to give. It was a very different world back then. My mother was a nurse practitioner for the family, and we ate rice at night. And then in the morning time, when there was rice left over, you ate rice with milk and sugar on top of it was your breakfast. I learned at an early age if I wanted something that I had to go out and get it. And I had a very successful lawn business of going through the neighborhood and cutting grass. But in any case, there was no health care. Everybody knew how to take care of themselves. I knew how to take care of my clothes and even patch my clothes if I got a hole in my sock. We had a little bobbin thing that you put the sock on and you re-stitch the sock. You didn't go out and buy a new pair of socks. So there was no health care except in extreme cases, like when I broke my ankle in a football game and my mother took me around to the doctor's house, and the doctor's 11-year-old son put my foot in a cast so that the son would learn how to do it. I wasn't really good with that either at the time, but that's just the way it turned out. But be that as it may, I worked, and then when I turned 14, I went to work part-time on the DECA program. I think it was called Distributive Education for kids that didn't seem to have a whole lot of promise to them. They let you go to school part day and then work. So I worked at a Esso station till 10:30 at night, and then I walked home. And the Esso station, being a young boy around all of these very rugged and crude men, was quite a experience. And back then was when the car pulled up and you ran out to the island and you put air in the tires and washed the windshield of the car. It was very different than it is today. And I remember one time my shirt was hanging out the back of my pants, so I'd bent over to work on a car, and I hadn't gotten the shirt tucked back in time. And the boss came by with a pair of scissors, and he cut the shirt tail short. So as a reminder for me to keep my shirt tucked in. And he was like, tuck it in or cut it off, boy. And then when I started working, I started to drink with the men and go clubbing. And when I was 15, my father was like, okay, so you're a man now, you're drinking. And I'd only had a beer out on his back porch. And he got really angry and chased me out of the house with the letter opener. But I was actually a good kid. And I wish I had done more for my parents financially, actually. But I wound up working on a garbage truck because when I worked at the Esso station, I made $9 a day, not $9 an hour. I made $9 a day, and there were men that were raising whole families on that. And when I went to work on the garbage truck, that paid $20 a day, but you had to work from dark in the morning until dark at night. They called that working from can to can. And that was rough because I was a 15-year-old kid and I'm having to carry garbage on my back like a pack mule. And at times when they needed extra men for the route, they put some of the men up in the cab of the truck, the older men. The younger men, they put in the back of the truck with the garbage. And you had to ride out to the route with people at traffic laughing at you and pointing at you and everything. But be that as it may, when I got back on my feet, I went to college. I worked for 2 garbage companies at the time. And I went to college and I took business administration and I took management. And I got good grades. And my teacher was Miller Redden, who was I think he was English. He was a real estate lawyer. Wonderful teacher. And he used to pick my tape recorder up and tell jokes into it and put the tape recorder back down, because I would have the tape recorder running as I was bouncing along in the garbage truck during the day. So you can't tell me that if you don't want something bad enough that you can't get it. But the fact of the matter is, for Bernie Sanders to say that the youth of our nation should be turned into pot dealers, and that's going to solve the problem, that is going to really cause some pain and agony in the families of these people, because there's still going to be territorial fights, to expand their territory. There's going to be drug addiction. There's going to be sexual abuse, everything that goes with drugs still. And it's actually insulting that that's the best that he thinks that he can do for the youth of this country. But I worked hard and I scraped and I got along, and there were many times I was homeless, many times I didn't have anything to eat, but still had to work hard. So that's just part of the character of life.